Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Colony Singapore. It's been a few weeks since my last video, and today I just want to do some updates on my trapjaw colony. Just want to share my experience and what I've learned in a few weeks of taking care of this species. So I think like other people, before I got this colony, I have done some readings on them, done some research. People did mention that this species require more delicate care and is more suitable for experienced ant keeper. And sometimes when you read things like this in the internet, you always wonder about what people really mean about being experienced and what it really means, right? Like, what really makes some ant keepers more experienced than the others, and how would you know that you are experienced enough to, start having a trapjaw colony or any other species that's kind of like deemed for more experienced ant keepers? So with that in mind, today I just want to talk about that for a bit and kind of like share on things that I've learned so far. And one of the things that I've noticed in my first few days when I got my trapjaws are definitely the fact that these guys are very timid and very, very picky eaters. If I give them a mealworm or a piece of mealworm that is too big, they won't eat it, and sometimes they look too scared to even get close to it, and you can notice sometimes they look very cautious moving towards the food, and sometimes they even go around it, ignoring the food altogether. There will be times where I give them crickets, and if I give them crickets, I will also have to cut it into very small pieces, or they won't be bothered about eating it up. For my crickets, my go-to is usually I'll just feed them the cricket's hind legs. So that's kind of like easy. It's like small enough and it's easier for them to carry it. And you can see that if they like the food that you're giving them, they'll bring it closer to their nest. So I guess that's kind of like why it is also convenient for them if you cut the food into small pieces so that it's easier for them to carry it back to their nest. And I've also noticed that sometimes that if I give them the same thing for a few days in a row, they will start ignoring it. So I kind of like have to switch it up every now and then. We'll switch between crickets, mealworms, sometimes white eggs and honey. As simple as that sound, some early stage ant keepers, not that I'm that experienced, but early stage ant keepers probably do not have access to, or maybe not keen with the idea of keeping crickets or mealworms at their place for ant feeding purpose. This is different to keeping, say, a Camponotus species, where you can just feed them honey, any leftover chicken or beef or protein, rice, whatever you throw at them, they would eat it. So it's Camponotus is such a good species to have. Like, that's why they say Camponotus is a beginner species, because it's not difficult to keep them. It's not difficult to feed them. They basically eat up any kind of like food, leftover food. Just make sure that it's not dangerous to them, doesn't have any insecticide or those kind of things. And I have tried giving chicken, beef to my trapjaws, but they can't seem to be bothered with it, so I have since stopped trying giving them leftover food. Just stick to mealworms and crickets for now. Also, another thing to mention about trapjaw and what makes them, kind of like not a beginner and colony to have is their tube setup and their outwell. You have to put some substrate, and in my case, I use some peat moss and sand, because this species is known to have slippery feet. Means they can't grab a hold onto glass or plastic, but the good thing about that is that they have minimal risk of running out of their enclosure, so you don't have to kind of like worry about them going out, because they can't even climb the outwell or whatever enclosure you use. I would assume it's plastic Tupperware or any kind of like glass container, so they're not gonna get out of it, but you will still have to apply some protective layer on the outside of the outwell, because this is to prevent them from being raided by outside colony. I've had such experience before, and it's just devastating to see that the ant colony that you're keeping being raided by outside random ant colony, and it's better be it's better be safe than sorry. So make sure that you apply protective barrier on the outside of the outwell to prevent such things from happening. Alright guys, that's all I have to share for now about my trapjaw ants. If you want to share your experience or any tips about keeping trapjaw ants, please do so in the comments. Please like my video and subscribe to my channel.